What's up, everybody? Thank you for watching, subscribing, liking, commenting, sharing, doing all the YouTube things that make YouTube such a spectacular place. Moa here, and we're back for day 3 of our Magic the Gathering free-to-play video series. And today, we are building an actual deck. Yeah, I'm parting with some of those common and uncommon wildcards to build a deck based around Experimental Overload. It's a deck I've played, and it doesn't have any rares except for the dual lands, but we can just play regular lands. So the first thing we want to do, as always, when we sign in, is to re-roll a 500 quest if we have one, and then check to see for any free stuff in the store. And there isn't, so I made the deck, and I edited out the parts where I made the whole deck, but that's basically what it is. Red, blue, Experimental Overload, wins with the land Kizzle's Fury. And we fling it at him, or just beat down with big tokens. So, alright, take it right to the ladder, and we start with game 1. And my opening hand, I mulligan this, and I don't know why. I can play Kizzle's Fury as a red land. And that was a perfect opening hand, so I'm not sure why I mulliganed it, but I did. Maybe I didn't realize that, maybe I thought that was like Seize the Spoils, the land, but anyway, here we are. So keep this 6, although like I said, should have kept 7. It's fine. Opponent opens on mountain. Let's see what else they have. And then I mess with the audio settings a little, which is funny because we lost all the original sound. Have I mentioned that yet today? That I lost all my original recordings and are having to voice over all this weeks later. So, Thrill of Possibility isn't supposed to be in the deck, but we didn't have enough cards to get all the cards I needed, so we were running a little short on common, so I left that in. We'll get to the final updated deck list when we get around to having all the cards. Alright, so what this deck does is filters through its cards, put a lot of instant sorceries in the graveyard, and then uses big Experimental Overloads, either fling them at the opponent or just attack, depending on the matchup, depending on what opponent's doing. The opponent here just playing black and red and seem to be doing anything. Oh, okay, so this is pest summoning. Got it. Alright, our best card is Dual Strike. And I use Experimental... What is it? Experimental Iteration to find my land drop, which is something we do frequently. Use it to get good cards in your hand and then also play a land out. I suspend Dual Strike, or foretell it, I should say. This is a tough matchup in the sense of knowing when to attack their tokens and when not to. Because, wow, opponent's playing blue. Okay, that's strange. The reason is obviously you don't want to use your creature removal spells on tokens. But at some point, if they're just going to keep playing them, beat you down with them, you may want to do something about it. So we'll see what opponent does here. Okay, immediately playing the Plum the Forbidden to draw 3. Which means if they don't have anything else, you have to discard. Yeah, that was weird. I don't know what they were looking for. Now, like I said, they're going to have to discard. We have another Seize the Spoils to play. I don't like playing Cathartic Reunion into open blue mana, because if they counter it, they get like a 3-for-1. They're the goal against decks, frequently against decks that like run you out of resources where you're trading 1-for-1 creature removal and stuff. Frequently the move is to Dual Strike a Cathartic Reunion after you guys both play a lot of cards out of your hand. So it works that way a lot against, say, mono white deck, where you've killed some of their creatures, whatever. And then you get to the point where you have, like, say, no cards in hand, they have no cards in hand, the boards are even, and that's when you want to Dual Strike your Cathartic Reunion to get back into it. Or double Dual Strike your Cathartic Reunion and draw 9. There's another pest summoning. We draw another Seize the Spoils, which I don't know, might as well just keep playing. I guess I decided to pitch the Cathartic Ring, even though I do have a second one, of course. There's an opt I can play. I don't think I have my land drop yet, so opting into a land is probably fine, although I do put it in the bottom. Let's see if I foretell this. Use it. Let's see if I use the treasury. Yeah, I do to foretell this dual strike. Alright, see what opponent does with a handful of cards, all 3 colors of mana. 6 lands. Okay, they got Professor Onyx. Yeah, that's going to be a problem if they untap with it. I can double Scorching Dragonfire, I suppose. I wonder if I do that. Well, actually, what I can do is into the Royalite for now. So I have 3, 7 mana. So what I would do, here's what I would do. I would into the Royal without kicker. Okay, so into the Royal with kicker. What I think I like better is into the Royal without kicker, then dual strike into double experimental overload. That way, while they can kill one. Yes, I don't. Well, I mean, I drew the card off it. I had enough mana to do all that stuff last turn. I think that might have been better. Alright, so that's 6 cards in hand. Now they're going to go up to 7. And again, I can still kill it with dual strike and Scorching Dragonfire if I want. Don't know exactly what opponent's up to other than casting sorceries and instants. Is that my 4th Seize the Spoils? See, I missed that line while I was playing, I guess, and I think I would have liked that better. Because then if they want to tap out, to play their Professor Onyx again, which they will do, a lot of times you can probably just attack it. They may use the -3 ability instead of. So, I play Seize the Spoils. I feel like I should be playing the Mountain here. Yeah, don't. So far, do not like how I've played this. Unless the goal is dual strike, triple experimental frenzy for 13, 12, 11, or 14, 13, 12. Don't know. What am I thinking about here? Right off the bat, I will say that I don't like how I played this. But then again, at this point, I have played weeks of this deck. And at this time, this was legit the first game I played with it, so. I didn't do anything, huh? Which is weird. I'm not sure what's going on. Wow, watching this back has been strange. Alright, so he plays this guy. Place a card that exiles my graveyard. Yeah, I guess that's going to do it. Wow, this game felt winnable. I'm not sure what happened. I'm not sure what happened. This game felt like it was going to be winnable. Yeah, just all kinds of turns with Professor Onyx. And we'll have a handful of nothing. Yeah, okay. And now I really don't know what the plan would be. Yeah, I mean, I just. Did I not realize I have no graveyard? Alright. I can rebuild my graveyard kind of quickly. Alright, let's see. Shock that guy. Dual strike, dual strike. And dual strike, triple Scorching Dragonfire? Quadruple Scorching Dragonfire? Okay, interesting. That's sad when you line up 3 dual strikes in a row. Opponent's got to be scared. Opponent has to be scared. And then you just play Scorching Dragonfires and can't do anything except kill their guys. I'm still down to 4 with 1-1 with 3 1-1s that play against me. Yeah, okay, he just shocks me. Yeah, that was awful. I'm not sure what that was. That was not good. So, yeah, okay. Let me pause and think through that, and then I'll get back to you with the next game. Okay, we're back. And if we could just forget that game ever happened, at least it won't be somewhere like on the internet to for me to remember for the rest of eternity. So anyway, all right, moving on to our second game against Liz the Lizard. All right, opening hand is prefer some draw card effects, but we don't, other than op, we don't have any. Still should be good. Still reasonable enough anyway. We should, with 2 Frostbites, we can stop any like early creatures. Opponent playing blue-red, nothing else so far. Shockcast can go to the bottom. We have 2 Frostbites. So. Then we draw another creature removal spell. You don't want 3 experimental overloads in your hand this early. Not usually. Opponent seems to be somewhere in the same deck as us, or something close anyway. Okay, they do nothing. I do nothing, so I just decide to just grab Zerda. Opponent has another opt. I don't know if I didn't realize. That's a weird play. I'm not sure if I didn't realize I would have to discard. Still only 1 red, so I can't play Zerda yet. Alright, anticipate. Which card we don't have. Opponent's still doing nothing. I can't even play Zerda. So I wonder if I just shock my opponent here instead of discarding. Yep, I think so. Or no, did I just discard? Yeah, okay. I mean, at least we're pumping the next experimental overload, I guess. Alright, there we go. Hopefully this will help find red mana. Perfect. Yeah, and this is pretty much perfect. The dual strike I need and can cast aside this turn, and then the land I need also. So, yeah, that's pretty good. Tap my 2 blue manually to foretell dual strike, signaling that I do have a card for 1 red. Opponent has Behold the Multiverse. I don't mind discarding an early experimental overload because A lot of times you end up early in the game with 2 or 3 of them in your hand. Shuffler's fine. So yeah, I don't mind just getting rid of one knowing, especially against non-blue decks where they can't really counter it. You know, you can just buy it back in the next one. So if you discard one early and then you can dual strike into another one, you can use the first copy to bring back dual strike and second copy to bring back the second experimental overload. Here I just play out a creature. Again, I'm just trying to get something going, see what's happening there. Get my opponent to play some cards, kind of get an idea what's going on. He's probably on a similar deck to mine. I mean, my deck is not exactly the most common deck ever, but I would imagine blue-red, instant, sorceries, experimental overload is going to be a common theme that people like free-to-play and new players will make, because it's just a simple one to make. It doesn't cost much. I shock again. At least I draw a land. My opponent still hasn't played anything. Into the roll, not very helpful against decks with no permanents. This is going on forever. Opponent plays another Anticipate. I don't remember if I won this game or not. Yeah, I draw Kazul's Fury and have to decide whether to play it as a land or not. I don't know how this game is going to play out. Yeah, so I decided to just keep it in hand for now. Discard Cathartic Reunion, because again, I'm not going to play that out against a deck with tons of untapped blue mana and 7 cards in hand every turn, so you're just asking to get 3 for 1. Though I will, against the blue deck, sometimes dual strike and then play it. Alright. Draw Cathartic Reunion, so probably just decide to do the exact same thing as I did last turn. Those experimental overloads are really building up, at least, if nothing else. I am curious as to what's up with that expressive iteration counter thing. Why that's over there when it has no effect on the game. Okay, so here we go. Finally, opponent plays something. Taps out for Kiora Best the Sea God. Okay. Interesting. Alright, am I just going to fire off Experimental Overload without dual striking first? Alright, so I bounce the Kiora Best the Sea God to get one more card in the grave. And then I imagine I dual strike. Yeah, okay, dual strike into Experimental Overload, bring back dual strike and Experimental Overload number 2. Would I guess be the plan here? Please don't have Test of Talents. I do run a couple of Test of Talents in my deck, although I don't know if I have them in yet because I don't know if I had the uncommon wild cards enough yet to buy them. Alright, so just negate, thankfully. I could just bring back the next overload with it. Alright, okay, choose dual strike instead, that's fine. So yeah, if opponent again wants to tap out for Kiora Best of Sea God, I'm fine with that. Instead chooses to play Gravenlore. Okay, main phase Anticipate, not sure what they're looking for. Alright. So now that down to 4, I can basically just win with dual striking Kizzle's Fury. I don't know why I didn't set aside that dual strike. Or what's it called? Foretell, I should say. Maybe my plan was to just... Okay. So yeah, opponent doesn't do anything, so I decided to just... So whenever you have lethal and you have effects to play, just present lethal. So just attack, and then opponent has to react first. And then when they do... Alright, so I play Sublime Epiphany. So imagine here, yeah, I dual strike first. And then once that resolves... I mean, they may counter that, but then you're very likely just going to kill him with the regular Kizzle's Fury. Okay. I mean, definitely concerned here. I could have something. Well, I guess you can't really have anything, right? Could they have miscast? Is that in standard? Anyway, they don't have anything, and I sneak through the victory in what was perhaps the least thrilling mirror match of all time. All right. Anyway, here we go. We'll be back for round 3. Game 3. Okay. Here we are back for our third game of the day. 1-1 so far with our new real deck. Our first actual deck. All right. Oh, so I do have tested talents. Okay, this opening hand is obviously perfectly fine. Those Scorching Dragon Fires will eventually be the card that counts the number of instant sorceries in the graveyard. I can't think of the name of it right now, but there aren't going to be any though. So green-red feels like a great matchup for me because you generally can just kill all their creatures and they can't do anything about your token ever. So once you drop like a 9/9, 12/12, whatever token, they just can't deal with it. Always bolt the bird, which we do. Yeah, so this is one of those matchups where I kind of talked about where you're just going to trade resources and then you could fire off a dual strike and a cathartic reunion to refill your hand. Yeah, I mean, I think just clearing their threats, even if it means that you're not doing much with your turns, is fine for now because you just want to survive long enough to build up a huge experimental overload. And you don't even need Kizzle's Fury to beat them usually. Usually it's like an attack or two where they can't do anything about it. All right. Horn Beetle. Imagine next turn is going to be play iteration and then foretell a dual strike, I imagine. Okay, draw my land, which is great. And then this is awkward because I don't get a land, but good thing I drew it. So I imagine overload. I imagine overload in my hand, royal set aside, and then just bounce something of theirs. And cathartic reunion could just go back into the deck because I already have one. Or maybe I just play cathartic reunion, I'm not sure. Okay. I mean, that's certainly reasonable. Yeah, just okay. I mean, that's reasonable. So I can test the talents is almost never going to be good against them, and then I discard. Like I've talked about, I made this play plenty of times. You discard the first experimental overload when you have another one in your hand. I would have liked to see me just bounce one of their creatures. Again, I think the goal against a deck like this is to just trade resources as much as you can and then refill and make a huge experimental overloads token that they're just not going to be able to deal with. So in that vein, I would have liked to have bounced. I would have liked to have bounced the Horn Beetle. But I guess this is fine too. I mean, we are still at 20. It's the first attack they got in, so. Okay, so 5 mana. This is should be a foretell, a dual strike, and then play. He sees the spoils. No, okay. This is interesting rewatching some of my play because I would play things totally different than I did. Now keep in mind this is about 3 weeks ago that I played this game, and I don't remember what happened in a lot of these. Some I remember vividly, others I don't. So yeah, I don't know that I would have done that this time around because the mana works out so well to just play Seize the Spoils and foretell, and then next turn you just have a couple of huge. All right, so they got this guy, which has shown up in a lot of games so far. But again, 7/7, they have almost no way to deal with it. All right, let's see what I do this turn. Can I attack for 7 here? So I can attack, and then if they don't block, I can just kill them. Yeah, see, I don't like this. Why not just attack and see what happens? If they trade off, it's fine. And then if they don't block, I just have them dead on board. With Kazul's Fury, so I can do 21. And then since I chose to attack anyway, I'm not sure why. Yeah, I don't really understand my play here. That's bad. I should have attacked first. And then just straight dead to Kazul's Fury plus Dual Strike for another 14. But I didn't, and I feel like from this position I should be able to win this game regardless. But yeah, I don't love the way I played it. I should have played it much more cautiously earlier on. They're ramming through. What are they ramming through? I mean, okay. I mean, that's something from their turn, but. They attack with a 1/1, no. Attack for 9, but yeah, then they're just dead. That's fine. The thing is, they know they're dead on board. They see the Scorching Dragonfire in my hand, and they're at 13, so. I'm not sure. That was not a well played game by either side. But say it with me, we'll take it. All right, moved up to bronze tier 2. We are cooking with gas. Okay, this next game was a very, very skilled one. I am happy with the way I played it. And I feel like I played it absolutely perfectly. And it's very rare that you watch a game and conclude that you played it perfectly at every opportunity, but I did. See? Magic is easy. Okay, so this game um, was against Red Green, and I feel like Red Green is one of our best matchups. And what could go wrong? Alright, so we lead on island. Our opening hand is fine. We have like everything you need. Like you want an op for, to kind of move through your deck. You want that Seize the Spoils is a great card to have. And again, you can get rid of, so they play red green land. So against red green, Test the Talents is pretty much useless. So you can pitch it to Seize the Spoils on turn 3. We have a Dragonfire for their first play. Yeah, it's lined up. This should be a win. Like, we pretty much win all the games that start like this. Dare I say, what could go wrong? So thinking about turn 4, probably Iteration in a second land and then Foretell Dual Strike. Draw our second land, which is awesome. Alternatively, I think Dual Strike works also. If you just want to foretell 2 Dual Strikes, as opposed to playing one of the iterations, that's fine too. Okay, plays the Horn Beetle. Alright, Fable Passage, get a mountain, play nothing, okay. So I have so little going on that I choose to buy back Zerda. Just don't have much. So the thing is about red-green, it's a great matchup, especially when you start like this, but when you don't draw action, you will just lose. And when they play Terror of the Peaks and then grow a big Horn Beetle, you can be in pretty big trouble. And that is what is going on right now. Okay, so we did draw a Frostbite, which, look, dual strike into double Frostbite on their 5/4, not where you want to be. However, I feel like it's probably the best play here because we're just going to die to whatever they have coming on deck. So yeah, this feels horrible, but again, I'm not sure what else you should do. So yeah, 2 for 1, plus wasting one of our best cards and dual strike, and then I think playing out Zerda is reasonable here. Wasting the treasure to do it, yeah, that's what I decided to do. You do need all your mana usually. Usually the treasure is very important for killing them in time. I'm looking through the graveyard going, alright, what's going on here? No action whatsoever. I got dual strikes waiting to go. I could draw a Cathartic Reunion, that would be huge. And then they play this guy. And then Horn Beetle grows bigger than my guy. Yeah, this is what went off the rails, in case you haven't figured out that that's about to happen. It is. Yeah, I was like, oh wait, now I can't block. That's awkward. It's not the same size anymore. Okay, so bingo, we do hit the Cathartic Reunion. So I think the clear play here is to triple Cathartic Reunion. Let's see if I do that. Reading this card, going like, oh, isn't that good? Alright, so I decide just on double Cathartic Reunion. Yeah, drawn to a ton of lands. That's not great, obviously. Yeah, I decided double. Seize the Spoils, hoping to find something. Yeah. Not going my way right now. Interesting that I just used both my treasures to play Cathartic Union. Yeah, this is not going well. I think they just kill me and yeah, double attack or whatever. I can't block. So yeah, I mean this can happen. Red green, especially their red green decks, not legit red green, but like beginner red green, the decks I'm running up against. That's a good matchup, but definitely was not this time. So I mean that happens, right? You draw through tons of your cards, but sometimes all your removal and all your experimental overloads in like the bottom third of your deck. Shuffler's fine. So all right, let's get right back at it and go to the next game. Okay, putting that one behind us. By the way, I've switched to my Jace avatar since I'm more of a control player. Always have been. Like drawing cards, killing things, countering spells. That's my favorite. That's my jam. All right, so up against Forest. This hand is fine. Frostbite obviously goes a long way. We'll see what they play. So yeah, this is either that mono green or green red. And this is exactly where you want to be. Turn 2, Cathartic Reunion, ditching the Test of Talents. Because it just is not very good against them. They hardly have any spells. Okay, so I didn't... oh, that's weird. Alright, I feel like that's normally my play to just ditch. Yeah, but I mean, this is fine too. This is fine too. Alright, use... This is the perfect iteration where you get the card key piece of your puzzle into your hand and then get to play your land drop that you were going to miss. So that's what Expressive Iteration is awesome in this deck. First arrow in games, not where you want to be. So let's see here if I just play... I think the play here is to play Seize the Spoils, discarding talents. You test talents, yep, and then play your Kazil's Fury if you don't draw no land, but I did. Did you use a treasure to set aside to... I keep saying set aside, or... What I mean is foretell. I don't know. Meanwhile, they're doing things. They got a 4/4, and then they can draw 2 and use their creature for 2 mana if it stays in play. I don't remember if I deal with it or not. Alright, so the play that I talk about a bunch, discard Experimental Overload against decks that can't really counter it, so you know you can always just get it back. Yeah, and they just immediately have an 8/8 in play. With another one on deck. And they're going to need something amazing, because I can just straight kill them with attack plus double. I can do 24 with the attack plus double Kazil's Fury. What is that? Okay. It's not one you see every day. So I wonder... This isn't a great trade for me, so I probably don't want to do that. So yeah, I guess just dual strike into Experimental Overload again. Get back a dual strike. Yeah, this is an excellent combo. You just keep getting back dual strikes. You just play 3. You get like a 12/12, an 11/11, a 10/10. Get back all your dual strikes to go with the Kazil's Fury that's in your hand, or you're going to draw. So I guess I decided to just hold it back here because, I mean, it's no trade for me. Gold token is a weird payoff. The last chapter. I guess the payoff is the 3rd chapter, right? Where they get to draw 3. Man, they're just playing. Yeah, so basically they're just dead if they don't block every single one of these. And they realize it, just scoop them up. Alright, that was a fun one. So then I realized I need to get 5 more white spells in order to get my deck. I guess I could blue or white, but the experimental overload deck doesn't actually play many blue cards at all. So I played like 5 games and only had like 20 of the 25 blue spells. So I decided to just throw together all the white creatures in a deck real quick, and it doesn't matter if I win or lose. Because, yeah, see that? Okay. Get my black-red deck. So I play Keep the Peace. So I guess that's the constructed deck. They gave me the starter deck with a few cards mixed in that I felt like fit better. So, and here we go. Alright, double Charm Stray. This is a weird mix of like Lifelink plus Priest and also Angel Synergy deck. Like all thrown into one. All with like 1 or 2 of each. That's cool sleeves. 1 or 2 of each copies of the card because I didn't get many in the decks and I don't like too cheap to buy like crappy commons I'm never going to use again. So yeah, we're kind of fighting through this like pain period that happens for the first, I don't know, month or so. We just simply don't have many cards. And like I mentioned in one of the earlier videos, I think the first day, we will eventually have all the cards for standard, and it doesn't take long, but there is just that period where you simply don't have, you have to use your rare cards very, very wisely. So we're going to use them for Strixhaven and D&D, and I've already mentioned this. And then the set after D&D is the one where I'll have enough coins by then to start drafting and going infinite. So the goal is by that set to have, what, I don't know, like 150,000 gold type of thing. And then once the quick drafts start, we'll just be able to go infinite. So yeah, the majority of our cards are going to be spent for, the majority of our rare wild cards and mythic rare wild cards are going to be spent for Strixhaven and D&D. Res and standard cards is what I'm trying to say. Sorry, I was watching all my Charm Strays and got distracted. All right. I don't know if we're close to winning this game or not. Alright, so they got Eye Twitch. That Arcane Teachings. Oh, so I have blue in this deck, apparently. There it is. Draw a Priest. Yeah, pacifism not exactly the best answer to that guy, but what are you going to do? Just give up. Okay. That was definitely not a game I was winning, but like I say, we'll take it. Alright, up to bronze tier 1. And there's our deck. So I'm going to show you the deck real quick and then we'll wrap it up for the day. Alright. So Croaks is obviously the big piece. And then the Serrated Scorpion. What is it? Village Rites, that combo. Tectonic Giant's pretty sweet. You hardly ever see it played, so I think it's probably not good. Do get a black-red to Scryland. Get some more removal. Yeah, the Village Rites Serrated Scorpion combo. We get 3 of each of those, which I'll end up making. Get some Heartless Acts, which are excellent cards, because those are cards we wouldn't craft because they're rotating out, but... And then, yeah, they have a lot of dumb creatures in this deck. I ended up later on down the road making a like more just removal based version of this, with just keeping some of the good creatures in. All right, so that was supposed to be it because we ran out because we got our 4 wins. But then what I decided was, because it was Saturday night and we had 2 more wins to get for the week, I wanted to get all the XP I could, because the Mastery Pass of Strixhaven is about to rotate out. So I wanted to make sure to get as much as I could before it did. Starting with the next one, the D&D one, we'll obviously have more than enough time playing every day to get all the way through. But for here, it was leaving soon. So as you can see, I signed back in later that night. It's like 11:30 at night after I worked all day. And so that we have 13 out of 15. So we got a few more hours to get them, and let's get after it. All right, so back in standard in the ladder, and this game, I don't know if I picked the white deck on purpose, or I don't know. I'm not sure why I did that, but yeah, this game sucked because we played against an opponent with like real cards and a real deck, and I think they're playing blue-black control, right? So like mono-white versus blue-black control, that's a legit matchup, right? With the standard cards where you have like the Luminarch Spirant and all that, and all your one drops that protect your guys, like that's a legit matchup. But when you're playing Charm Stray against guys playing legit cards, legit blue-black control with removal and stuff, he just basically diced us up, and I just gave up out of frustration. So yeah. We'll watch the good part before I concede, where we get creatures in. There we go. Boom. Get in there. Opponent really thinking about what's going on here. Alright, before deciding the Blood Chief's Thurstar guy. I have to choose between the 1/1 Double Strike and the 1/3 Angel. Draw Pacifism, which is, needless to say, not great against them. The land to play our War Leader might have been better, but I think it ended up not mattering much. I guess we play our Fencing Ace here. So far, every card he's played, well, I guess it's only two, but every card he's played so far has been an actual legit standard card that sees a lot of play. And all the cards we have played have not been. Yassei's got Eliminate, that's a legit card. Of course, his deck has all been commons and uncommons so far. Draw 5 draw, very nice. I mean, just continue attack is all we can do for now. We have two cards that figure to be useless in our hand and Pacifisms. And we got him down to 12. He's got Cling to Dust. He's got Cling to Dust. He's so not worried that he's playing it on creature just to gain 3 life. That's how not worried he is about losing this game. Didn't even care about drawing card. Get in for 3 more. More later. Yeah, saw that coming, and then I just pack it in. Yeah, I just scoop out of frustration with 5 useless cards in my hand. Alright, that was awkward. So I decided to get back to the blue-red deck. Because I feel like it's the best deck. Well, it's the only deck, really. It's my only real deck. Okay, opening hand. Only red mana, but I think it's fine because we can kill creatures early until we survive to cast Seize the Spoils. At which point we should certainly have found a blue by then. I mean, you won't always, but vast majority of the time you will. And this guy again, which we've just seen a ton of in this series so far. We get rid of it immediately. Okay, another red, which is better than not drawing land, but not as good as drawing an island. Okay, that one. Those are the 2 cards that deck always has. Alright, so didn't find it, but that's fine. We can just use the spoils and just get rid of our ops. And then worst case scenario, we can cast the iteration with a treasure if we need to and find a land that way. Find a blue land that way. Okay, 5/5. Definitely concern. Not the easiest for me to kill. Okay, so interesting that instead of playing iteration with playing iteration with the treasure, I just discard it. I guess I still could have played the other iteration with it. And I just discard that iteration too. So I guess the plan to combat the 5/5 is to just have a bigger token, but that doesn't always work against mono black. Because they can kill a lot of your stuff. So yeah, I guess I'll have to give him a 2-for-1 with Frostbite plus Fire Prophecy. Alright, Fire Prophecy, that's what I do. Get rid of the island, draw an island, shuffler's fine. So yeah, I'm looking to see what I can buy back. Alright, so I see these 3 on iteration. I have Frostbite in a hand. Fairy back in the library, play a land, Frostbite that guy. And we are just a dual strike away from winning. And there it is. So, okay, so I foretold that, but I really should have just. Yeah, I foretold that, but what I should have done is dual strike into experimental overload, buy back the dual strike, and then set him up for the kill next turn. Yeah, I mean, I guess this way works too. Wow, watching back at the first day, my first day with this deck has just been painful to watch. I just played some lines that I think are totally not optimal. I mean, not that a lot of them, some of them have been outright horrible, but some have just been like, this is probably a better way to do this. You know you have nothing good in your graveyard and bringing Frostbite back. And now, at the point where he just taps out to kill me, I can just hit him for 24. Could have just gone for it there, probably would have won. Oh no, I can't because it's still during my turn. So yeah, I can't play the foretold dual strike if it's my turn. On the same turn that I foretold it, I should say. Alright, play that to get his guy out of the way. Unlikely aid. That's awkward. Alright, oh, whatever. You can wait till next turn, I guess. Okay, and then he taps out and I just kill him. Alright then. One more win to get. Okay, here we go. Against our main opponent here. Alright, so it's one of those hands that there just aren't many blue cards in the deck, so it really doesn't matter that we don't have any blue lands or anything. I think it's just fine. We can play Kizil's Fury as a land. We draw it though right away, so that's good. Otherwise, I would have played Kizil's Fury tapped on turn one, but we don't have to. Alright, he taps out. So, like I said, I'm terrified of playing Cathartic Reunion against blue decks, so I'll do it while they're tapped out. But the thing is, if they can counter it, then obviously they get that 3-for-1. So I pitched the other one because I'm just not going to do it if he's going to have, blue mana tapped a bunch. So, okay, foretells the second card, which opens the door for Seize the Spoils. And again, I discard a Cathartic Reunion because, like I said, I just don't value it too much against blue decks. Alright. Opponent. Alright, so black is the second color. And dresses. Probably can take my experimental overload. Eventually. There we go. Alright. Alright, to resolve another Seize the Spoils, so up to 7 mana. So only 2 red lands in our opening hand, but now up to 7 mana. This is a strange play where he plays into Deer Kraken directly into my Frostbite that he knows I have, so I'm starting to think about, like, what do I do here? I guess I just use it and see what, I don't know what he could have. Maybe that card that, like, keeps it alive and comes back to play for 1 black mana or something, but no, he just lets it die, so, alright. Okay, we got Iteration, so we found another Experimental Overload. This is interesting, right? Shock doesn't do anything. Dual Strike doesn't really do anything. Because you can't set it aside and then foretell it, but that would be amazing if you could. So now I'm thinking this over. Don't just shock him and put Dual Strike back in my deck. But I decided to just set aside Dual Strike. I don't know if at the time I wasn't sure if you couldn't foretell it. I know this now because I've tried to do it multiple times and you can't. So yeah, I tried a couple times I think and then end up like, okay. So now I do have the red land in my hand to play it, so that's fine. I guess I decided to run the Thrill of Possibility with it. Yeah, using a treasure. Feels bad, but I mean, I don't know. Whatever cycles through some of my deck. At the very least, right? And then, oh, that's right, I already played a land, I forgot. Okay, so we're down to 6 mana, 7 next turn. Opponent always be holding. Man, we've had a few Dirtle matchups today against other blue decks, huh? Let me dress again. This is my Experimental Overload once again. Which makes me not happy. Alright, so we draw a Test of Talents, which is awesome. It's a card you always want in your hand against blue-black. So yeah, Iteration, Shock, Land is an easy one. Iteration in your hand, Land exiled to play, and then of course Shock just back in your deck. It's not very good against them anyway. Not that I know what them really is, but it seems to be all just blue-black control cards. He just steps out to play a Murder Strider because, I don't know. Why not? I guess he has to get a clock on at some point. See if I keep the second. Yeah, I mean, Test of Talent seems like it's going to be so good against them, either for counter wars or to try to disrupt their creature kill spells. Yeah, play land too quickly and then realize, oh wait, I can't play Iteration now since a big part of the value from that is playing a land. So I buy back. I buy Zerta because really I have nothing else to do. Getting close because I got 16 already in my graveyard. I am going to need a way to get another Overload. So things like Opt are really good. And I'm going to start with Iteration. See what they do. Maybe I can find Overload off here. I don't. So I wonder what I take. I think Cathartic Reunion isn't going to be bad in this particular spot where you can copy it. Potentially. Play Opt later. Can play my Zerta out. Even though I know they're just going to kill it right away. But that does remove a creature kill card for later, which may be important. Heartless Axe are pretty good against Experimental Overload tokens. Now, obviously goes without saying that a lot of times you just, in response, sack it to kill them with Kazila's Fury, but just saying it's something so that eliminates a great card for Zerta to just kind of take out of their hand. And they're more than willing to use it because they feel like it's not going to be good against them. All right, play Shark Typhoon. Taps out for a hard cast Shark Typhoon. And I'm just like, wow, what is this world? So the thing about Test of Talents, it's really good against things like Ultimatum or whatever, counter spells, but it's not good against anything that isn't. It's not good against anything that isn't an instant or sorcery, really. So what do? I decide to copy my Cathartic Reunion. Okay. Yeah, I think I can just win here. Okay. All right, so play Overload. Okay, play Overload, buy back Overload. Okay. Soul Shatter. I guess I just let that happen. Doesn't make a lot of sense to use your treasure to test talents. Soul Shatter. I imagine I Frostbite his token. Yeah, I think I can just get him here, right? Yeah, I can just get him here. I think I figured that out. Especially if he's going to tap out. So I use my treasure to play Opt. Okay, I think land is what I want, right? Do I not want to land? Yeah. Yeah, and I can play Overload and Overload and just have Kazil's Fury up. Well, I mean, I draw an Overload. Yeah, and if he taps out to... So if he taps out to counter it, I got him. Because I can use Test of Talents. And if he taps out to kill it, I can, in response... Yeah, so I grab the other Overload. So yeah, it's just lethal. And then at some point... So if I were him, I'd probably untap first, but... Oh, yeah, what am I doing? I forgot that I have Test Talents in my hand, so... Yeah, I can just kill him straight up. Because he'd need to have... Yeah, okay, he'd need to have 2 counter spells. 2 ways to deal with it with just 1 blue, and he can't, so... Okay, so that was a exhausting day of games. We won 6 out of 9 games, which is nice. And, I mean, we built a legit deck that, well, kind of, that feels like it can compete and do well. So all in all, a successful day. Was a bit of a grind for sure. Probably could have left after just the first 4 wins, but decided to come back and get the last 2, and of course lost a game in the process. So 3 more games. This video looks like it's gonna be over an hour long. I mean, so thank you for watching. If you made it this far, definitely. So like, subscribe, share, do all those great things, comment, and I will see you tomorrow. All right. Thank you for watching. Bye.